Bonjour, this is G, and welcome to Behind the Mic Live, where I interview incredible coaches, public speakers, and entrepreneurs who are making big rock star moves in their business. Today, my rock star guest is Helene Rennervik. She is a creative leadership and innovation coach, an author, and the host of her show, Play and Lead with Helene, right here on LinkedIn. So please welcome to Behind the Mic Live, Helene.
Thank you. I
Hey.
thought you would have some rock music, or maybe I should have had some, of my favorite music.
Yes, we're going to talk about music. Yes, yes. So who is Helene?
I am a lady. I used to say a girl, but I'm a lady,
Okay.
and I am positive. That's my number one strength.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is empathy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I am, so people can know. And the third one is woo, winning others over. I love people. And the fourth one is strength, strategic. And the fifth one, communication. I love to speak. I love to
Yes.
talk to people. I love to find out who they are. So that's who I am. I didn't take any of my titles and this and whatever, because those can always be changed.
Right. Yes. And we met through LinkedIn and then had a coffee chat. And then when we just started talking, I knew we were on the right in the same frequency. So I want to know, how did you find your voice?
I think I have been encouraged since early age to use
Mm-hmm.
my voice.
Mm-hmm.
I was always a little girl that used to ask questions all the time. I wanted to learn more. But like I told you, when I was 7 years old,
Mm-hmm.
I lived here in Sweden, and then I was part of it's a music and theater group.
Okay.
And there we got to sing, we got to dance, and I loved it. I loved
Mm-hmm.
performing. I loved being in front of people. I don't sing now. I mean, yeah, I can sing a little bit, but not like I did then. So, and that grew with me. Then
Mm-hmm.
even because I remember you said you are a public speaker coach. So I
Mm-hmm.
actually did public speaking when I was in London, where I studied to become an interior designer, because it is very important to use your voice and know how you use your voice. And of course, public speaking, I did not know that there was different techniques and this and
Right.
whatever, how you can use it. So, obviously, if I'm sitting here with you, I'm going to be myself, and I will always be that, but there are different techniques.
Right.
So, you know more about them than I know. So,
Yeah. Well, when you're on stage, you're just presenting to the audience, just like you're having this conversation, like we are today. And I feel that every one of us is a rock star. Everybody can channel their inner rock star. So, what would you say is your number one rock star quality?
my number one is that I'm curious.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes. Yes. Tell me more.
I'm curious. I love to learn new things, whatever it
Mm-hmm.
is. I love to create new things.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get bored very quickly.
Okay. Okay.
Because if you tell me something and let's come up with something, be it painting, designing something, or whatever it is, then I'll start with that, and then I have already created that, then I need to go on to the next one. That's why when I have found now what I'm doing when I'm working with people, because I have
Mm-hmm.
no idea what they're going to tell me. I have no idea. I can't
Right.
plan it.
Right.
And that is so great, because then I'm like, okay, let's see what else is possible here. And then,
Right.
we continue with the questions. So, like you are now kind of interviewing me. I love that, because I love to be on the edge. I have no idea. We have no script.
Yep.
I don't know what you're going to ask me. I have
Yes.
no
Well,
idea.
it's exciting, and it also, I think it really helps with our brain, our neurological, when we don't have a script, we don't have something like, when it comes to coaching or even public speaking, going on stage, not just saying the same thing over and over again, just having that. creative flow.
And that's what I like. I'm actually better with the flow,
Yes.
to allow the flow.
Yes.
And it can be very uncomfortable at times, very uncomfortable. Then
Yes.
what do you do? What do you do when it becomes uncomfortable? Do you dare to strip off all those layers that you might be hiding behind? Yeah. I've come to that age now that I am not so scared to, not
Okay.
scared, but and it's not scared, but I've let go a little bit of that perfection, because Helene has been very, very, always want to be the best all the time.
Yeah.
And that's exhausting. So now, I like to stand, I've always been, since I'm curious, to
Mm-hmm.
stand on that edge,
Mm-hmm.
thinking, okay, what else can I do now? But I can pause also. Before I was very, I was running so fast.
Right.
Maybe because where I was at that time, in a very competitive environment. But
Right.
now I have learned sometimes it's good to pause, take some time.
Yes. Yeah, it's like this with the musicians, and I see this with a lot with people public speaking. If they're nervous, they tend to rush through, thinking that the faster they go, the sooner it'll be done, and then they can get off stage. And it actually, the opposite is what works. Is sometimes you step back, you take a pause. Like with the bands, we would call it in the pocket. When they get into the pocket, and this is when a band, it doesn't matter what notes they're playing, it doesn't matter if the lead singer knows the lyrics, it doesn't matter. The audience is into it, and you get that click. So I want to know what's it like when you're talking to your audience and you feel that you're in the pocket with them.
So, it's interesting when you say. So I used to do body balance. So I'm an instructor of that, which is
Okay.
a mixture
Okay.
between Tai Chi, yoga, and Pilates.
Oh,
So
okay.
then you stand on stage and you have to
Mm-hmm.
take all your audience or the participants there through, but that's a choreographed 1 hour class.
Okay.
So I have to learn all the cues and this and whatever. In the beginning, I was so nervous, because then, first of all, you're in the focus. Everyone is there.
Right.
Not just the voice, but they have to follow. All the movement have to also be there. Sometimes you would forget, because, again, a script, and especially with me, to learn that script. But the thing is to just, it. You
Yes.
have to trust yourself, it, and then
Yes.
just go with it. And I learned that over time, of course, the more, you have to practice. Obviously, you have
Mm-hmm.
to
Yes.
practice, so it. But then, even though, there is a script, but I have to bring my own feelings, thoughts, and whatever it is into it. And even if I
Mm-hmm.
made a wrong move, okay, the next one, just trust yourself, and it. But it's when you, so that's why I say, when you try to be too perfect, then
Right.
you can't find that flow to
Right.
ride on that wave, forward.
Right. That's what it means to be in the pocket, is that because like you said, you've rehearsed a material. You don't walk out on stage and just wing it. You don't do that. But you rehearsed a material, but when you take away the perfection and that it has to be perfect, and you just get into the flow, into the pocket, the audience can feel that. And if you're presenting, and even if you're going on camera like this or on an interview, and you kind of lose your place, or you're trying to follow along, sometimes just having that pause lets everybody kind of, reset. And I want to talk about your leadership coaching, and what can entrepreneurs do to unlock their full potential?
To reach inside. We all have
Okay.
everything inside of us.
Yes. Yeah.
How do you do that? You
Hmm.
can't go up here, because,
Hmm.
I will think about it. No, what we have here is not really, that's our conscious mind there, but the
Right.
subconscious, there we
Yes.
have so much. We have things that might block us, and we
Yes.
have all the answers there. So that pause there, when I sit and speak to people, and I don't know what will come up, and I ask, maybe they're quiet, okay, or maybe they did something with their eyes. I had a young client yesterday, and what's that with your eyes? That was a little bit uncomfortable. But what that was a thought that
Right.
this
Right.
person had there.
Right.
Would you like to share that? Yes. Then you can, share that. And then you find all those things inside. And it's just to open a little bit. So that's, like you sitting here asking me, I will always find new things inside of myself. I can't go, okay, let me just go and find it in a book. No,
Right.
I have to find it here.
Right. Right. And I love that you have a show, Play and Lead with Helene, right here on LinkedIn. So, what is your show about? Who are your ideal guests? Who's your ideal audience? I want to know more about your show.
No, it's new. So I had a
Brand new.
show. I had a show 2 years ago on LinkedIn. I've been on LinkedIn. I was
Okay.
very active 2 years ago
Okay.
and before that. And I grew. And then I had, I can't remember what it was called then, but then I used to invite guests like you are doing here, women, because, we had something in common,
Okay.
whatever it was, different things. But, we were women and we got on there and we spoke, and they were leaders, they were, CEOs, they had but different titles and different backgrounds. But this one is new.
Okay.
And I do this to challenge myself, because
Yes.
now I don't invite anyone. I have to sit there and talk
Right.
on my own. That is a challenge. It's
It
not
is.
really. But
It is. Well, it's like,
you have to challenge yourself,
yes. Yes. Because if you
because
get
I
in
don't
that,
get any answers. I
yeah.
get no answers. I'm there on my own. Okay. So it's a little bit, it's to stand there because I want to start it again. I
Okay.
share ways. So I'm on an inner journey of finding out new things about myself all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm standing in this, that I found something. It was playfulness. So when I work with leaders, and I didn't have that before, I am playful.
Mm-hmm.
So I was coached by someone on a large area, and there were lots of coaches, but I held up my hand because she said, "Who would like to be coached by me?" And I was like, "Me." So she did. I had no idea what she's going to ask me or ask me what
Right.
to do. But I was there. There was a possibility for me to learn something else. I didn't know what am I going to be coached about, but she started. I thought I needed clarity about my clients
Mm-hmm.
a little bit more, because I want to dive a little bit deeper. So I need to dive deeper inside of myself before I'm going to dive deeper with other people.
Right.
In the end, I mean, she asked me, go and get a piece of paper and a pen. But Helen didn't just go and get a piece of paper and a pen. She got colors, and I had 5 minutes. So she asked, and then I drew, and and she said, would you like to share that with us? I'm like, yes, I would like to share that. It wasn't, it wasn't very,
Right.
very funny. But
Right.
again, I have to stand on that edge to dare to do the things if I'm going to
Right.
be on the other side receiving that. So I showed, and she said, so tell us, what is this? And I said, it looks like a face. Okay. So what does it, in one word, playfulness, playful. But that
Nice.
wasn't my client. That's me.
That's
I
you.
have to step into that. So
Yeah.
that's what I then thought, okay, what can I do to explore this more?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I have done. I did then, okay, I'm going to talk about this for 5 episodes for
Okay.
leadership and standing in playfulness. So that's what I'm finding out. I play and lead. Yes, that will be also, because play. What is play? What is play to you?
Uh, Putting things aside and not taking everything so seriously. Getting back to where, as we were kids, we would literally just go play in the yard and it didn't matter. We find a stick and that stick would entertain us for hours and kind of to unplug. I would say playfulness is unplugging.
And we learn. I mean,
Yeah.
didn't we learn so much the
Yeah.
first 5 years of our life? That's when
Yeah.
we learned the most. So the
Yeah.
play and lead will be there. what I will call it afterwards, I don't know. I mean, I will be there, but maybe I bring people on and this and
Okay.
whatever. I haven't thought about that. But it will be
Okay.
play and lead, because I do believe as a leader, and we are all leaders. We must be all leaders of our life, because otherwise we are just following someone else.
Right.
So play is something which can be learning. It can be
Mhm.
something that brings joy, and so it can
Yep.
be a lot of things. But I do believe that the play and lead is something that I will always keep, play and lead. So let's see where it's going afterwards. So I'm always
Yes.
open to new
Yes.
things, and.
And if you start bringing on guests, who are like your ideal guests to be on your show?
That will be these, it could be serious people.
Okay. Okay.
It could be really serious people. They can maybe they want to find another side of themselves, or it could be different
Mm.
people and from different backgrounds, that maybe would like to bring up the playfulness, or maybe they have that in their leadership, and so it will be
Mhm.
different people. But I would like to bring more people together, because this world is very serious.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
what do we do? And since I work also with young youth between 16 and 25,
Mhm.
I hear them. I learn so much from them.
Right.
So they don't want to grow up, and they become serious. They become scared. They judge themselves so much. So I'm thinking, okay, I work with these leaders that are here. What can we do to
Okay.
change that? Because,
Yes.
both from top to bottom and bottom to top, I think we have to both work in both. I can't do everything on my own, but I can do a little bit. And since I have this amazing network, or not network, but where I'm working also, Wake Me Up here in Sweden is
Yep.
coaching for youth.
Yep.
Since I
Yep.
have that, and I'm able to help them, but I'm also listening to them and what they're saying. So what can I do to help that, to change, to bring some change? Because again, how many hours do we spend at work?
Yes.
Let's say we start working at age of 25 till we are 65. How many hours do we spend there?
Yes.
It's so many.
Yes. Yes. We are just having this conversation the other day. I was having it with a client as well. Like, you know, we work. We're programmed to work so hard to like in our 60s, and then when the time we have free time to do things, our body has has a different idea, and we're kind of limited to like over here in the States it's all like golfing or you go travel and all that. Well, what if you could take that power back when you're in your 30s, 40s, 50s, and have that balance? So I'd like to know, how do you, for yourself, and also how do you like instruct your clients to have that balance between having the drive for work and career, and okay, we've got the drive, but then also like the playfulness, the balance. How do you find that balance?
Um, how I find it for myself,
Yeah, yeah.
or I help
For
them.
for
Yeah,
you first,
yeah.
yeah,
For
yeah.
me, so I see my whole self, not just
Okay,
my mind, my
okay.
body, and my soul. I have to look
Mm-hmm.
at all those things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm lucky that I have found something that I truly love. You
Right.
know, I am my business.
Yes.
We can't really separate ourselves. So even if I work with someone who is in an organization, I ask them, okay, you are your business, because we choose. Even if we don't like our job, okay, but we choose. So what can I choose then? Can I choose something different?
Right.
So for me, it's always asking those questions. Of course, there's things that I don't like, okay, but then I can ask, what is this?
Mm.
You know, how can I change it? If I don't like it, how can I change it?
Right.
Can I change it? First, can
Right.
I change it? How can I change it? So even for myself, I use questions all the time. I love, so I am a PT instructor, I'm a yoga instructor.
Mm-hmm.
That's also something I do love. My
Mm-hmm.
body, everybody's body likes to move.
Yes.
How we do it? ask your body. There's not just one way to if you hate the gym, okay, find something else. What else could you do? Because we will have a better life when we look after our bodies. We will. And that's also
Yes.
eating, but you don't have to follow everything what everyone else is doing. Ask your
Right.
body, what does your
Right.
body enjoy eating? And somebody might say, oh, it's just sugar. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
Sorry.
That's something that you will
Yeah.
go to when you're not satisfied. Your
Yeah.
body, when it's satisfied,
Yeah. Yeah.
it will be fine. So that's in everything. Because I have been many years in the fitness industry,
Mm-hmm.
that's great, but it can also become a judgment. I started the fitness industry when I was much older. So a lot of people, when I spoke to the younger, trainers and so on, there was so much judgment on themselves. But then it
Really?
doesn't become, yeah, of course, they have to be in tip form and this and
Right.
whatever, okay, I was older. So what am I going to say? Okay, it's fine. But again, because when we stop judging our bodies, which we all do,
Right.
then the body will enjoy. The body is there. We have to enjoy. Going out to nature is so great. Why is it so great? Because the trees, they don't judge each other. They don't.
Right. Right. They don't.
With
Right.
one flower and another flower, don't judge them. Oh, you are so pretty and you're so ugly and you're so old and you're so this. No, there's a wisdom. There's a wisdom
That's
to
so
these
true.
trees that are so large and this and
Mm-hmm.
whatever. So that also, nature is extremely important to me. It's,
Mm.
is somewhere I go and I recharge. And, you know, we had a forest bath on this weekend, a retreat. So
Okay.
some people, they had no idea what is this forest bath. They thought we were going to swim and have a,
Okay.
no.
What is it?
It's actually a Japanese, what they do, forest bath. So it's a kind of a meditation. I guess you can do it in different ways, but we explore the 5 different senses
Okay. Okay.
in the forest. I mean, some people, they're like, afterwards, they're like, oh, I've never really thought about this. How
Wow.
great is the nature? Because we can see, we can
Mm-hmm.
speak, we can smell, we can hear, and we can touch. So when
Right.
we go in and explore that in the forest, but we can do that every day. I always tell people,
Mm.
okay, I don't know how to meditate and this. It's just to when we focus on that just for a few seconds, we are here, present now. And
Right.
that's what needs to be broken, that we are not just in the past or in the future and our mind is everywhere. Just focus, just bring that focus. And not, it doesn't, meditation doesn't have to be for hours. Just
Right.
use that. It's so easy.
Right.
What am I smelling now? What am I seeing? And see
Mm.
it. Or it's green, it's red. I see this. Taste. I mean, we were tasting, the leaves, we were tasting. I told them, okay, don't taste this because that's
Right.
poisoned.
Right. Right.
We don't want that.
Right.
But again, that's also bringing some more play, because how often will we go out and taste, you know, leaves or this and whatever,
Yeah.
or berries. And berries we usually taste. But again, a lot of people, they take that for advantage. I'm very privileged to
Right.
live in a country where we have that. I do
Right.
know that in so many countries we don't have that.
Yeah, that's a great point. I mean, I think because, especially in the last 10 years, 10 or 15 years, we're so plugged into technology. And that when you just go out into a forest or out into a field, if you don't have a forest, just a field or a park, and just get in touch with nature, like you said, and just, man, that is some of the most relaxing sounds too, when you're just
Yes.
completely quiet and you
Yes.
listen to the forest
Mm.
and you can literally almost hear the trees talking to each other, or, like, you know what I mean? You get into that, and then I think we can actually get on the same vibration
Mm.
as the
Yes.
forest, and
Yes.
that's where, yeah. So that sounds like an amazing idea.
Yeah. And it's really, people don't understand how much peace, inner peace they can get
Yes.
from that. And it doesn't cost money.
Right.
I mean, if
Right.
you can go out into a park and this, and it brings so much benefits to you. And it's not just you, the people around you and the world. If
Right.
everyone, would just take a few minutes a day to
Right.
connect to themselves.
Yes. So let's talk about your book, Hoping
Mm,
and Coping.
mm.
Yes.
And I have one exercise in here that I used to do with my son. I did it with
Mhm.
my son before he became sick, and it's called
Mhm.
Trouble Tree. So that's in here. So my book is, you have text, you have a picture,
Mhm.
and I start with a quote because I like that. I had not really planned to put, drawings and so on, but then I had a mentor when I wrote this book, and she said, "Are you just going to have text?" I'm like, yeah, I thought that's what I would know. But she said, no, no, no. She said, I would not like to read your book then. I have to have something else. So, writing a book is also very, very different. I wrote this
Mhm.
book after my son when he was well, so he got cancer when he was 9 years old.
Oh, wow. Wow.
And so I called the book Hoping and Coping, How My Darling Little Son and I Broke Free of Cancer.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a journey, and life is a journey. And I'm not happy that he got it, but I'm happy he survived.
Right.
I'm happy that he lost part of his leg, but he has
Oh,
a
wow.
prosthetic. And I'm so grateful. Even the other day, I'm like, oh my God, he's 18 now. So he's
Oh,
a
wow.
young
Wow.
man. But
Wow.
imagine this leg that
Mm.
has, been able to extend during these 9 years. I mean, it's amazing. So then technology is very, very good, because maybe if it was 30 years ago and so on, maybe
Right.
then, they would just have cut off the leg and put an exterior prosthetic on, which also have evolved so much more a day. And through my journey of my life, of course, I've had many hardship, many
Mhm.
hardship. And they kind of build you up to this moment. My mother, she died from lung cancer before my
Wow.
son was
Wow.
born,
Oh, I'm sorry.
which was very
Okay.
hard. But again, so, and my sister, after my mother had passed away, she got cancer, but she's a survivor. Then my son got cancer. So, and he is a survivor. So today I dedicate my time also to the Children's Cancer Fund here in Sweden,
Wow.
where we go to the hospital,
Yeah.
because it's a journey that was with me. I don't want to forget it, because
Yeah.
it woke me up. Because as a parent, are you a parent?
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't usually think that our children will leave before us,
Yeah.
but they can. And my mother experienced that. I had an older sister that died when she was 18,
Oh, wow.
which was very hard, but my mom got through it. And so cancer, when I heard my son got cancer, okay, the first thing that got into my mind, he's going to die.
Wow.
That's the first thing. Usually when you hear the word cancer, because I've asked many people, they're like, okay, the person is going to die or I'm going to die. But that's not true. Today, there are so many
Right.
cures for it. There are
Right.
so many cures, and not everyone dies. My son, he got something called osteosarcoma, which is a cancer in the bone. And it happens to young boys mostly, and it's only 3% of the ones that get cancer as children. So it's not a very common, like leukemia and so on.
Right.
That is more common. And so Yusuf is going to carry this with him for the rest of his life. That's why I thought, okay, I need to process this. It was a great way of me to process
Yes.
everything that I had gone through. And for him to have something, he's not a victim. Sometimes he is seen as a victim in many times. But I always tell him, no, you are special.
Wow.
Special, and learn those things because you can share so much. Because what is normal, because that's what a
Right.
lot, what is
Right.
normal.
Right. Wow. And he can share his story and your story, and that just, like working with the cancer centers, you might be that might be the story that they need to hear just to pull them through. Like it's
To give
yeah,
hope.
give hope.
Sometimes when I go into the hospital, so we go in there as parents every other week,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a family meal with them in there,
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted to be part of this, because that helped me a lot when I was in the hospital. And one time, so we always do, we go in there, and I see, and you kind of, so for in cancer you get different treatments.
Yes.
And I saw this young person in there, not that young, but probably teenager. And I saw the medication that Yusuf, I just saw it. I knew that this person is having the same thing, but I didn't say anything,
Right. Right.
because we cannot bring our own things with us in there. We are there
Right.
for the parents. We have to take away. And I'm so grateful that I have tools for that. But the other lady, she could see, because I was just like, okay, because, we know the different treatments, but that one especially, and I know because there's 3 different chemos they get then. And then I spoke to the parents, and then afterwards, when they knew that we were parents of children that had cancer, so one of the parents asked me, so what did your child have? And I said osteosarcoma. And she's like, okay, but that's what our child. How is yours? And
Wow.
then this parent could ask me more. And I know it's hard. It's extremely difficult when you go through there. It's so difficult. It's so difficult. But there is a
Wow.
light in the end of the tunnel. There is, and
Right.
that's what I would like to give for them, and be there, It's really
Mm.
hard when you go through it. And it's not just the person who's going through. And that's also when you get older. It's not just the person that is going through it, everyone around you too, because they want so much to help you.
Wow.
But they might not know, how am I going to do it? And how are they going to process this? And that's not just cancer, that's in everything we go through.
Yeah.
It's finding a way to cope with whatever you're going through. And tools, there are different tools,
Yeah.
that can help us.
Yeah. Wow. Well, let's talk about your coaching and what do you enjoy most about working with your clients?
I enjoy when I see, that, oh yeah. And it's like, really? And sometimes it's so simple. Yeah. And
Wow.
sometimes it can
Yeah.
be a long thing, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
it can
Mm-hmm.
be, you know, I always after each call, I have to, because I don't bring my own things in there. I can't be there to judge them. If they say something that might be shocking, okay, then I breathe through it, because I'm not there to judge that person. I can't, because when we're having conversation like you and I have, we sit and, oh yeah, I have gone through that. And yeah, we
Yep.
listen like we do with
Yep.
friends. But
Yep.
as a coach, I have to be that, not an empty shell, but I have
Right.
to, so I focus and I ground myself before I
Mm-hmm.
have that conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that I don't start to judge myself, because I want to be the best person for that person there. But
Right.
maybe every time I can't be that, because I'm a human myself too. And maybe we are, it's not every, so we have that first conversation to see that we are a good match.
Right.
Because if we are not that good match, maybe it's better, because there's so many coaches out there. I'm
Right.
not going to
Right.
be the best for everyone. We have to find that match.
Yes.
Sometimes it's good, because you could be feeling from your coach, it's a little bit annoying. Okay. But that's the time when we have to have that pause, because
Right.
during that pause, it's a little bit uncomfortable. And then as a coach, you have to just be there, be
Right.
strong enough to be there in that pause, not to, because sometimes you want to help the person. No, you have to not help that person, because as a mentor, then you're different, then you're there sharing your own experience and this and what. But as a coach,
Mm-hmm.
the person there themselves, when they say that word or whatever is coming out, that's when they're like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because when I say something, it's from me. It's not, if you
Right.
tell me something, so
Right.
a question, I don't know the answer. I don't know. We have been, most of the time we have been programmed that we should know the answer to everything. But, a
Mm-hmm.
real question with a question mark, it's the answer has to come after we have asked that question.
Right.
So that's what I really enjoy, when that, because it could be anything. It's like, oh, wow, I can be as surprised as the person.
Mm-hmm.
And, when they are able to change something in their behavior and replace it with something else, because,
Right.
a change, we might have to take something away and replace it with something else. But what is that something else? Because first of all, we have to identify, do I want to change? Because if you don't want to change, okay, then I can't do anything.
You can't do, right. Exactly.
I can't do
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. Yeah. So how can people work with you?
How they
Yes.
can reach out to me. We can have that, conversation. And then I prefer to work in a 3 months, in 12
Okay.
weeks.
Okay.
Because, yeah, of course we can have one conversation. But then if we want to change something, you have to be there. And it's not, one week or up to 10 days, because there's a lot of things that happens in between. It's like when you're going to go to, if you want to lose weight or gain muscles, you can't just do that one time and then you get muscles. No.
Right.
And
Right.
it can get a little bit tedious if you want to change something.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe after a month, okay, the first month you're all excited, and then the next month, and that's when
Right.
you have to show up. You have to be willing to work with me. You
Yes.
have to be willing to be there and not be feeling, you have to trust me. You have to trust me to share those things that maybe you have in your mind. I'm not here to share that with someone else. But when you trust, and that's why I said, it's very important that you can find that bridge, that you can trust
Yes.
the other person. Because if
Yes.
they can't trust me, then it's hard for me to get a little bit deeper. So we do that over 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And, we do it on Zoom, or, that's the best. I had one
Mm-hmm.
client one time, didn't want to be seen. Didn't want to have,
Okay.
it didn't want just speaking.
Okay. Just audio only, just like Zoom, but no camera.
Mm.
Interesting.
There was some fear behind that, and we found that out later on.
Yeah.
So a lot of and you can, and I
Right.
mean, if they're
Right.
here in Stockholm, we can meet, together. But the thing is, it's the consistency. It's very, very important to have
Right.
that consistency and discipline. I don't let you go. If you're going to work with me, okay, we will find one time, because if we have booked that time and then you come back, oh, okay, I can't, I'm traveling in this. Okay, but that's why Zoom is very good, because we can do it anywhere. We can do it anywhere. It's better,
Right.
of course, if somebody really can't do it, then we can reschedule it. But the consistency during that
Right.
time is
Right.
very important. It's the same if you're going to, when I worked with as PT, the consistency, because,
Mm-hmm.
you can't change. Yeah, you can stop eating,
Mm-hmm.
and then lose a lot of weight, but it's the
Right.
consistency. And that's what I would like to have, the result that the person wants more. I want the results more than that person. And you can work in group. Group is
Yes.
also very, very important. As a leader, sometimes if you are changing, maybe you want to share that with the people that you are working with.
Yes.
And sometimes companies will send some people away for coaching. But again, I would like that person to be committed, because if it's the board that's saying, oh, this person needs to have a coach, well, what about the person themselves?
Right. Right.
That's very
Yeah.
important. So
Yeah.
there's group coaching you can do too, and
Mm-hmm.
workshops. I have a workshop that is great,
Mm-hmm.
excellent. It's called Måla ditt liv in Swedish, so paint your life. It's a journey.
Okay.
And that is, again, to bring in your other side of your mind, because you're going to paint. I'm not going to teach you to paint.
Right.
You get 2 blank canvases.
Okay.
That can
Okay.
be very scary. I get 2 blank canvases, because we are so used to having this mobile today. So we take a picture.
Right.
So people that are perfection, who said, like when I drew that painting that I found out, it looks so funny. A lot of people would not have shared it. But if I was a kid, I would say, oh, that is so cute. That is
Right.
so
Right.
cute.
And everybody be like, oh, great job.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
But when we get older, then it should be
Right.
so perfect. But what is perfect? Look at Picasso. His paintings are being sold for millions.
I know.
So what if we dared to do that? So it's a playful workshop, but it's
Yes.
also communicating in a different way. Everyone does
Mm-hmm.
a painting of how their life is now and how they would like it to be. And
Nice.
then when we sit together, as
Yep.
after, you
Yep.
find out so much more about your colleagues. And as a leader, then you can actually observe all of these people. You should also, if you are the leader or the team leader, you should
Mm-hmm.
also be part of it. But
Yes.
all of a sudden, we become more closer. And this is something I do believe today, this is what we are forgetting.
Yes.
Because you remember what we said, we work so much. When we were small and we were going to go back to school, we were excited to go back to school.
Yes. I remember. Yes. Yes.
But now people are like, are they not that excited to go back? Imagine if we were excited to go back
Yes.
to our work, like back to work. No, people are talking about all their lovely things they did in the summer, and now they are recharged to go back. But what if you really felt like, I'm so excited to go back to my work? I believe this is what we need, because
Yes.
we're spending at least 8 hours every day there.
Yes. Yeah. I think I describe it as getting on a carousel, and you're just going round and round and round. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong, because, we need people have to work corporate jobs and things. But when you literally get on a carousel, it's just, it's the same thing. And then like maybe once a year, once a quarter, there's a brass ring, and we put all the effort into the brass ring. And what I say with my messaging is just get off the carousel and start walking your own path, and
But
see,
even your own
you
path,
know,
maybe, you want to be that together with some other
yeah, with
people.
other people, get people together, and
Yeah.
yeah, or at least recognize that what you're on maybe is a carousel, and embrace it, enjoy it. Hey,
But
it's got
maybe
great music.
change, from
Yeah,
one horse to another, or
go
to
from one. Yeah,
another,
yeah. You don't have to sit on the same. That's such a great now. You don't have to sit on the same horse the whole time for the whole year. Just go jump around the carousel. See, now I want to go on a carousel. This is that's okay. That's pretty awesome.
If you and I were on a carousel, you would see the carousel. Because when you said carousel, I know, like the hamster wheel, you can say, but on a
Yes,
carousel, I could have so much fun, because there's
yes.
so many different things. There's so many different ways you could sit on that horse. You could stand in front
Yep.
of it, you could sit the other way around, or you could sit side saddle on both sides. You could stand up, so there's so
Right.
many
You can
ways.
walk around. Yeah. This is great. So before we wrap up, I want to know, who is your favorite rock star?
You don't know that? Where am I from?
The music capital of songwriting capital, in my opinion, of the planet. Sweden. I think you guys have the best songwriters. I'm gonna say ABBA.
Mm.
There we
I used
go.
to
Okay.
I used to be one of them when I was small. I told you I
Oh,
was singing.
oh
So
yes, yes, yes.
I was Agneta, the blonde one, and I had a friend. Her name was also Helen. She was Annefrid. We used to stand and sing, and we were performing.
Once again, being playful, right? So, so
And still today, they are still that. When I listen to it, it's like they are so great. They
yeah,
are great musicians, they are great
yes,
singers, their lyrics, and also their lyrics are really, you get happy when you listen to them.
yes, yes. They were on. I mean, I think they are probably one of the most influential groups in music. I don't know, people of this generation maybe don't realize that the favorite pop songs you listen to today came from there. Like one of my favorite heroes over there in Sweden is Max Martin,
Mm,
who Max Martin is the songwriter producer who writes all the hits. You know, Backstreet Boys, Katy Perry works for, I mean, everybody, right? So it's just like, but there's something about, and that's very unique too about to Sweden. There's something really unique about the sound over
mm,
there and the sound of ABBA. You know,
mm.
it's just wow. Well, Helen, this has been so much fun. This is so great. So, how can people stay in touch with you? What's the best way to get a hold of you? Your website, everything.
My website is
Yep.
nordbridgesglobal.com,
Yep.
or best is to contact me on LinkedIn, because on
LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, that's now I'm committed to there. So I'm always there every day,
Yes.
commenting on other people's posts, on my own
Yes.
post. So it's a commitment. Commitment is something that you have to carry through.
Yes.
And it's a great place to meet, but again, it's a networking, so you are kind to each other, and you can meet people like I met you, that it's not here. So it's a great place to
Yeah.
both network and to build businesses.
Yes.
It's great. It's a great place. So and of course, my details are on there, how they can reach out on
Mm-hmm.
email to me, or even call me. So reach out, and
Yep.
yeah.
Well, this is great. So once again, connect with Helen on LinkedIn. Check out the Play and Lead with Helen show.
Yeah.
This is going to continue and maybe bring some guests in the future, right? It's developing into. All right. And
Something that is also very close to my heart.
yes.
Before I'm a big advocator for peace. So this is
Yes.
also the month of September, because on 21st of September is the International Day for Peace. So but again, peace is not just opposite to war. That's why it goes with my whole thing, inner peace. It
For inner
starts with inner
peace.
peace. So
Yes.
I had that 2 years ago. We built up 21 days before the International Day for Peace, because that day is very important for me, that we all try to do something.
Mm,
Working on non-violence is also something I do, because again, that could prevent a lot of things happening, and
yeah.
that's to get that peace. So that's also something that is very close to my heart, that I might do in September. I'm not sure. I'm going to.
Okay. I think that's great. I think that's something that people on LinkedIn can get behind too. I
Mm.
think, I mean,
They were. I mean, two
yeah.
years ago, I
Yeah.
had other people coming on there.
Yep.
So I'm still, it's there inside my mind. But so I promised I will do 5 episodes of
Okay.
this journey of playfulness. So that
Okay.
will end in August, and then in the month of September. So play and lead will be different things, because
Yes.
again, play is not the opposite to serious. Peace is a serious
Yes.
topic.
Yes.
But what if we could do it in a soft way?
Yes. Absolutely. Well, thank you again for being a guest on the show. I really enjoyed our conversation. You are a
Thank
true rock
you.
star.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you.
me.
All right,
Bye.
guys. Until next time. Ciao. See ya.